Ding dong. Hello?
This is the Hustler Rip Rogers. Yeah, it's fucking me. Yeah, and listen to the fucking Hameen Media Group. That's Ben Hameen Media Group from Rip Rogers. Go get him and go fuck yourself.
Yes. Rise and praise, infidels. It's time for the Hack Attack Live. Ultra declassified. FC's high list. Kayfabe on debauchomania. Here, Hameen Media Group. No mercy on these infidels. No mercy.
Catching heat with the crowd, just another vicious heel down the cheat and he's proud. Hear the screams wasn't allowed. The reading out his palms, fucking book of songs. When the dirty Saudis dropping bombs, ain't police with batons, but he's pro martial law. You speak infidel, catch a partial to your jaw, bowing down to a law. Just praying not to.
Oh, what's good, you guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. No slow fade on the StreamYard Sting, but glad to be back here with you to kick off your weekend jam. And if you're a subscriber at patreon.com/Hameen Media Group, thank you. I've seen new signups, and that's where our content is going to reside. And thank you to Big Ray, and thanks to MSG, who's here with me to co-host today, for getting all those uploads done. Thanks to the vet and Brent. Let's go, Brandon. The watch-alongs have been kicking ass, and everything is just off to a good start for 2026, I feel, man. So good to be back with you, MSG. Good morning, pal.
Good morning. It's I'm a little lazy or as lethargic as I start today. A little tired, but that's all right. You know, good times. I had Jimmy T on last night with me for my South Park podcast, so that'll be out later today. SMB South Park Review, so go check that out. Had a good time with him. But other than that, man, you know, things are warming up here in Connecticut. I hear it's good. Still snow over there though, so like you're still going through it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was minus 10 over the weekend. It was crazy. Minus 21 during the night. And those are the brick days of February, and then it kind of is the turning point, USA. And now it came back up to like 28 degrees, and that's just like in the perfect snow pocket in upstate New York. So yesterday I went open to close at Ravens Joint. Great day. People coming in because they wanted to get it in before the snow sets in, I guess. But numbers were up yesterday, and it was great day in the shop, but every hour it snowed, even if it was like a quarter inch. Like as soon as they get it plowed off, it'd be this snotty slush, like a inch deep, 2 inches deep, and then snow on top of it. It was dangerous. I went out for 2 deliveries, like right before. Of course, they came in at like 7. We shut delivery off at 8, and it was whiteout conditions. There was an Amazon van that just slid into the ditch and was like half blocking the other lane, and like it's on a back roads with no lights, street lights. I was cutting trail and fucking Mountaineer, like our delivery vehicle. So, but I was brought up in this shit, so I'm used to it, man. I've rocked some dirty whips all through my teenage years through some shitty snowstorms.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 45 on Monday and 46 here
in
Connecticut on Tuesday. Dude. I was like, wow, it's going to be a little warm this next couple of weeks. So
that's one thing, and wait till your sinus pressure tells you. Like you get excited, but you're like, oh, my fucking head. That always really happens in February, right after Valentine's Day, usually third week. I've seen it go up to 65, 70 almost before, and like melt half the snow in 2 days. And it's nice because you've been waiting for some vitamin D. Yeah, get it in you. And but it does get dangerous, especially in parts of New York State. Like I've played a lot of shows there, and there's a lot of good people there. The armpit of New York State, Binghamton, the water can rise fast because I'm on, Tug Hill Plateau, and there's a lot of drop-off points here for things to empty out. Not to say it can't flood, but down there it's done major damage in the past when you melt 8 feet of snow in 48 hours. That water's going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so hopefully it's more gradual so people's towns don't get all fucked over, but that's part of the game we play, my guy.
Crazy stuff here. I know I got sick over the weekend. I was telling you about it. I was sick
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Yesterday, I was just probably about the first day. I was starting to actually feel a little bit better. But
Kicking out.
yeah, but it's all right. We're back.
You didn't miss shit. It was a fucking cold, brutal ass weekend, bro. If you had to stay under a blanket and fucking cough it out, that was the one to do it. You weren't missing fuck all.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd gotten a fever in a while. So it was something because my girl was like, she's like, you got a fever. She gave me some medicine, and I just sat there and sweated it out all day. Hot, cold, feeling that way all day. So not good.
Yeah, it's a wild trip, man. I got it early in November, so I think I kind of twice. So I think I kind of, got the immunity for it, hopefully, through the rest of this year. But
Right.
yeah, dude, it's no fun. And everybody yesterday coming into the store, even though they leave with weed and you made their day brighter, at least, like, you can just see everybody's done. They even say, like, I'm done with this shit, bro. Like, it's all cute November to December, and then, like, this is the fucking fuck. Like, people are just on their front lawn shelling, fuck you, screaming at the sky because they're so done with it, bro.
All right, well, let's jump into some wrestling headlines here. The first bit of information I have comes from Tuesday, 2 days ago. It says,
see you next Tuesday, Deuce. Got him. Fucked him.
So this involves Kevin Nash and CM Punk. Kevin Nash explains why his planned match against CM Punk in WWE 2011 never happened. He says, while speaking on his podcast, when I was supposed to wrestle CM Punk after I cost him the belt at SummerSlam, he said something that pissed off Triple H about something with him and Stephanie. It wasn't on the script, and it pissed Paul off. Paul came back and basically said, you're not wrestling Punk, I am. I'm beating that motherfucker. Like, he was hot. So I know how hot he can get, and it wasn't like Paul's a bitch. It was like, oh, okay, motherfucker. Basically like, oh, okay, click rules. Like, you want to pull them out and measure them? Here we go, suck on that. But I know how fucking much Paul cares for him now and what it looks like and what it took to bring him back and everything that happened, and Paul trusting Phil with everything that he's done, and vice versa for each other, for that relationship. That's what people don't understand that aren't in the business. You can have that kind of fucking heat with somebody 10 years ago, but man, when you got to make money and make music together, how quickly that dissolves. Thoughts on Kevin Nash pointing out the fact that apparently Triple H back in 2011 wasn't happy that CM Punk made a mention of his wife. And do you really think he's changed? Or is it just is the people above him that are like really pulling the strings and saying that we need to see CM Punk back?
Well, money is gonna, if there's money to be made, they're gonna go for it. So that's the way it is. But yeah, this is 2011. Click. You're gonna mess around. These guys been sharpening swords for 10 years, cutting throats, and are in their demigod phase. So. Yeah, that's what Nash, Hall, and Pac and Game and HBK did best, bro. Like, you better be liked by them as a rib or one of, a dude who's just over enough, and they're the Cobra Kai of the locker room. So for Punk to come in as an ROH indie guy that time, and that'd have been 2008. He's ECW champ, right? Because that was the Tony Atlas incident. Don't you watch my show? And so now he's up there and is a star off of that around that time, and they don't want to give up their spot. Here he comes, and he's known for the pipe bomb and says some shit that wasn't on script. Okay, game on. Like, that's what these sharks look for, bro. You give them an in, they're just waiting to carve you up. And what Nash is saying is exactly what that is. You know what I mean? Like, you might want to pimp me out in a scene on camera, but you're gonna have to answer for it. Like, if that's the way it goes, you think you're over, you ain't over. We'll teach you up here. So. Can people change in 10 years? I'm not going to say no. I'm not the same person. I'd say actually, that's not true. I try and practice stoicism, but fundamentally, I'm still the same person I've really been since I was developing at like 15 to 17 in my mindset. I've just sought out mentors, you know what I mean? So, of course, we mature, but that just means we rely on crystallized patterns after that. We're not really expanding. So these tigers don't change their stripes. They can attack at any time. and now they're masters of it. Are him and Triple H and CM Punk hanging out being boys? I mean, I guess Unreal would tell you that they're cool, but I don't know, dude. Like, again, if there's money to be made and we're all going to cash in on Saudi, I don't have time to fight about my wife. You were probably right about her. Like, he's probably worn out from dealing with her while he's away too. Same thing though. Like, let's not gloss over what Phil Brooks is and how he, can be the Chicago woke culture guy. And it comes back to bite him in the ass because the moves he makes business-wise in doing stuff with game makes him look like a hypocrite. Saudi money, all that type of shit. I'm straight edge, but I got to be on the gas. And they're calling it out in promos even now. Like in the Big Dog promo, he referenced Colt Cabana. Like, Game doesn't forget either, bro. He'll put those things in there. You're on mute, buddy. You're on mute, Maddie.
I didn't press that mute. That's weird. Yeah. But then they don't follow it up this week, right? They had that great promo the week before, but then they do nothing this week.
Right. But putting that stuff in there are the small knife digs of reality, and he calls him his friend. Like, the part of that story is that Punk left Colt because of the lawyer fees were like $250,000. And they're still butthurt off that podcast from how long ago was that? And that's being referenced, but then we don't follow anything up. And who do you think Adam Pearce is, like, part of the storyline is putting that in there? No, that's Triple H from above. Like, that's saying there's old heat there. So, like I say, they may smile nice for the camera, but at the end of the day, it's F that dude. And Punk's on top where he wants to be as champ. But look what he did in AEW to come in there and start the fights. And everyone, I'm so happy he followed his dream to UFC. Fake tough guy shit. Right. I'm not saying he didn't put in the time in the dojo and get his ass kicked for 2 years, but you're not going to go in as a kindergartner against people who are 12th graders and expect to win. Like you worked yourself into a shoot, and then he gets his ass whipped and everyone's like, well, at least he tried. Yeah, good. So give me that check. I'll train and go try. It's not and get my ass whipped, and it's one thing after another where I'm the best in the world at what? Causing problems backstage? At what? Not being loyal to your friends fully? At what? Keeping other younger talent down now to get over and stay over at 48. It's going to happen again, the pattern of behavior. So Nash, at least he's admitting to being a fucking shark. Everyone's like, see how they do it? Yeah, I do see how you do it. And he's telling you, like, fuck around and find out, dog. And that's what happened.
Ben, are you familiar with the TNA wrestler BDE?
I don't know if I am. What does it stand for?
Well, according to this, it stands for
Big Dirty Erection. Got him. Yeah.
It stands for Brandon Does Everything. That's his moniker. He's in TNA right now.
I don't know if I'm familiar with him.
But I found this story to be interesting. Popular YouTube personality claims that he spent $20,000 to attend the WWE PLE. Popular YouTube personality BDE, who has close to 1.5 million subscribers, spoke with Chris Van Vliet about his journey toward becoming a professional wrestler. During the interview, BDE claimed that he spent $20,000 to attend the 2025 WWE Royal Rumble. Chris Van Vliet said, with your videos, titles, and thumbnails are crucial. They're the most important thing. When you have a video titled, I bought a $20,000 seat to Royal Rumble, I'd click on that. He said, that was a risk. That was a really big risk because I never spent that much. I've never spent that on videos. And Chris said, you actually spent $20,000? And he said, I dropped $20,000 of my own money. That was the biggest risk I've ever taken. And Chris Van Vliet said, that got 4 million views. So you made your money back, but what are you thinking when you hit the purchase? And he said, on one hand, I was excited because I was like, I've never sat that close at a wrestling show before. So I was like, either way, it's going to be awesome. But I was like, I really hope to get the ROI. It came all about because I was playing video games with Brent and we were just chilling and we were like, we want to go to this event. He was like, why don't you just get tickets? And I was like, hold on, that's a good idea. So then I called my business manager and I was like, hey, I kind of want to drop $20,000 on a ticket. What do you think about this? And the manager said, what are the plans to make that back? And I said, oh, we'll do streams. We'll do whatever we got to do. I don't know. We'll make it back. We ended up doing streams to make it back. So the video before we even filmed it, we made most of our money back on it. It was still a big risk. I've never dropped that much money in my life. What are your thoughts on a current talent now working for TNA admitting? Now, I get it. The YouTube videos and the thumbnails are already out there. But what are your thoughts on him actively, recognizing that he spent $20,000 to go to a WWE Royal Rumble event? Now he's working for WWE's partner, if you will.
So is your question like framed as he a mark for buying a ticket last year and this year he works for the company?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Well, let me break it down this way. So I think I saw this dude's video where he was like in like super catering or some shit like that. So it's interesting because this is a new form of entertainment. You and I both work in both digital and in front of the camera side, right? So it's an investment in himself. I don't like the fact that he didn't really have the vision to make his money back and just took a gamble. As a businessman, I like to have my strategy a little more crafted, but apparently between Twitch payoff of like getting new followers and getting eyes on your product, it's a really, if you were to go to a boardroom and go, I can get you 4 million watches on a 10-minute presentation and the budget's only going to be $20,000. That's not too bad of a spend. You know what I mean? Because you're getting true. Like I'll put this out there. Spent about $6,500 to get to 10,000 homes around Ravens Joint with direct marketing cards. They lifted the restriction on that we could do direct mailing, right? I don't know. My return rate might be 5 to 7% on that investment. This, people are watching, people are going to know your name, BDE, and your brand. And it got him the spot at TNA because he probably would never be there without having done that video, right? So my point is, it's a gamble, but that investment in yourself can be the one that launches you in trajectory. And that is truly working in synergy, not being a leech, but the fan experience, tapping into the micro demographic, the YouTube audience, and giving that micro demo a cool perspective of like what, because they're already bitching that they spent $850 on a ticket. That guy spent 20 grand. What's he get? And then people can show it in front and go, it isn't worth it. That was the worst finish. And that's not what he's there for. He's there showing that he's VIP. He spent it. Yeah. People can call him a mark and hate if they want to. But now this dude's in Impact. And I think it's smart for Impact and trying to build. I saw this week they were like over 241,000. And remember we said, I was like, the lower number they start with, the more impressive it'll be. Because like first week, they're like, there were 90,000. And then it came out, they were at 170 or whatever. But still 170 to 240 is a great jump. 90 to 240 is unbelievable in a month's time. WWE's trajectory since they debuted on Netflix has been nothing but decline. So hats off to them. And if this is a way that they're going to do that in tapping into the influencer genre, tapping into, we saw Tony Khan try to do it, and when it's blown up in his face twice with the Insta hose, like some of these girls got crazy amount of following. You could do a whole fake romance with one of your people online and work the whole thing. If you sign these girls to the right NDA and smarten them up on how shit's going to go so they don't expose your business. But if your show's only doing 451,000 and you can tap into this girl's audience with exclusive content where she's got 7 million followers for showing her ass, how many of those are going to tune in? And she says, tune in on Wednesday. How many of those tape trader masturbators are going to come over to watch your show to see her or what have you? So there's value in WWE's doing the same thing with Logan Paul and the comedians and all that type of shit, man. So
Do you
is he a
feel
mark? Yeah, he hasn't trained. Of course he is, but homeboy's taking his ride right now.
But do you feel like that would build any resentment in any of the locker rooms that he's in, where you've got other professional wrestlers who have maybe grinded on the indies, and they look at this guy who basically spent $20,000 on a YouTube video, and now he's in their locker room?
It depends, bro, because to me as a worker, I say this is my opportunity to get heat on a guy who does all I got to teach him how to do is sell. He can come out and do his selfie shit and hit my music, come down. No, you infidel moron, you're not going over on my time. Y'all, me and Blaze jump him, beat him down, camel clutch him, smile maker, and heat. And then, somebody runs in, we get empathy on the kid, we laugh and get our heat over the top of him. Next week, we go to bully him again. Somebody comes in and says, leave him alone. Oh, you got a problem. Then we have a real wrestling match and we cheat, get heat on that guy. Maybe it's even a tag team. Let's say it's the Outrunners, right? Then you put the Outrunners with them, us versus the Outrunners, fucking going to hit Turbo Floyd with the flag. What's BDE going to do? He's going to grab the flag, turn around. What? Hit me in the balls with it. Oh, I turn back in. Big clothesline. Up they come. Oh, shit. I go to tag Blaze. Blaze gets bipped off or pulled off on the outside by BDE, so he can't make the fucking tag. I stumble back, take the big thing from the Outrunners. 1, 2, 3, BDE feeds in. They stand over my corpse. It's the exact same thing I did with the dude from Framing Hanley, Nixon, at the Rock Fest. This is how you do the spot that BDE is in right now is the morning radio DJ, middle school coach, rock star. This is how usually they don't get in and do what Logan Paul does.
Right.
This is where you mix these guys in, and you just have to have them be out there doing them for their audience, and a heel gets heat on them, and then mix in your babies as bully beaters.
Right. All right. I was just curious about that. Next story I've got questions for you. Our next bit of information. Jesse Ventura says it's a disgrace that Donald Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame. During an appearance on the Independent America podcast, Jesse Ventura commented on the president being in the Hall of Fame. He said, "Do you know how you get in the Hall of Fame? You know what I had to do? You know what I did one time? True story. I wrestled 63 consecutive nights in a row without a day off. And there are people who would destroy that. There are guys who did more than that. But that's how you get into the WWE Hall of Fame. You know how he got in? Because he provided us 2 buildings where he probably made millions off us renting his buildings to WrestleMania. And for that, Vince McMahon puts him in the Hall of Fame. It's a disgrace. I've almost resigned, gone public, and said I'm resigning from the Hall of Fame because Trump is in it and he doesn't qualify. Like everything he does, he's not qualified." I mean, what's the point of Jesse the Body Ventura coming out and saying this?
Well, obviously he's in his later years and curmudgeon years, and that's awesome. I love that shit. And I'm a big Jesse fan, but the governor stuff, is a big part of it in politics. And whether it's him trying to sell books or just be kind of the spirit of America, he's going to be anti-establishment. You know what I mean? And Trump is, if you're looking at 80s guys, Jesse's rock and roll and biker culture, like kind of post-Vietnam, born on the 4th of July, serve their country. And Trump is 80s spoon-fed, old school money stolen from Tesla technology, everything handed to him. So that's really what this goes back to, not what's happening now. This is a 1970s, 80s culture that if you didn't grow up in it, the jocks and nerds type culture, you know what I mean? The rich richies versus the fucking greasers, like that is a prevalent thing. And that's what this really at its foundation is about. But should Trump be in the Hall of Fame? I would say yes, based on what he did in his celebrity appearance. It's not like he's in the Hall of Fame and people regard him as the worker commentator that Jesse is. I think that's just using the Hall of Fame to be like, this guy's in there. I work 63 nights. Yeah, as a worker, you're in there as a wrestler. It's a way different respect level than, honorable mention because you had a great moment with McMahon. And really the other part of that is too, that nobody really gives Trump credit for. And it's not, I don't know if it's credit because it's the oldest scumbag game there is since boxing, fixing boxing fights back in the day, is he hosted these WrestleManias at Trump Plaza, dude. Like, he is like the arena. If you're going to put over Pontiac Silverdome and all this other shit, the Trump stuff was a foundation in Jesse's days, right?
Yeah.
But now, because of Trump derangement syndrome, because of maybe what Jesse does know and he's not saying, I don't know. And he maybe has other founded reasons. But to me, it's just like more of that bucking against the system type of shit instead of being truthful. And with everything with the Epstein files, I'm not here to try and protect or say anything for anybody at this point. So I think a lot of that is old man curmudgeonly Trump derangement syndrome, using the excuse of the WWE Hall of Fame. What does that even mean? They gave you a ring. There is no physical Hall of Fame. Like, it's in WWE headquarters where you can't get past security. It's ridiculous. If they're having WWE Vegas, why was that? You can build an arena in 35 days. You can't curate a museum in fucking Vegas. You could have all those people that are coming. They would all go to see that shit. Andre the Giant's boots, Freddie Blassie's cane, whatever the fuck. And they'll have the traveling version they have, but why not have it set up there now? So there's a lot of deficiencies still, man. But yeah, Jesse, he's just kind of a caricature of himself at this point, right? Like, is anybody taking him more seriously than old man Simpson, Grandpa Simpson, shaking his fist at the clouds?
Shout out to Jerome for life with the $4.99 super sticker. Appreciate it here.
Yeah, thanks, pal.
Appreciate your contributions. Of course, you can go to patreon.com/Hami Media Group. Sign up there. As we've mentioned before, all of the shows, the free shows, are still available to watch on Patreon. We've just shifted them over there. So if you missed the show, such as, the Next Level Review, the Wreckage, the Smack Attack, Impact Attack, those are all available for free still over there.
Sorry, and just to follow up on the Jesse stuff, here's why I don't like him, ugh. Because it's him and Trump and wrestling. Like, I love Jesse's conspiracy show. Why is Jesse wasting his time on this when we're not looking at aliens and the fucking Epstein files and every other thing, dude? This, I was thinking about leaving myself. That was a terrible one. But yeah, it's just like, all right, turn off the news, man. There's way bigger things going on that I'd like to hear his opinion about.
Next story I have here comes from Chris Statlander and AEW. So while speaking with Denise Salcedo, AEW Women's Champion Chris Statlander commented on blood in women's wrestling. She said, well, first of all, women bleed once a month anyway, so it's kind of an unfair criticism. We don't have a choice, really. So to choose where we get to bleed from once, I think that is, more power to the girls. Also, it's like, you don't have to watch it if you don't like it. It's quite literally advertised in the name, blood and guts. You should expect to see some tomfoolery, to say the least. But as you know, as much as people like seeing the guys do it, we are wrestlers too. We have the sick desire to be disgusting and dangerous as well. And this was the first one ever. We haven't had the chance to let that rage out. So obviously we're going to go overboard and, mutilate ourselves because we're psychos and we have a lot and we love to be that. And that's where we are. That's where we are in AEW. We're the best wrestlers and we're the best bleeders also. What are your thoughts on Chris? I thought that was funny. Like, women have to bleed once a month. I thought that was a good line. But what are your thoughts on her putting over the fact that women want to bleed too?
Yeah, waka menstrual cycle joke. Like, I've got no problem with that. Like, if she wants to fucking get that over now. Now that's a match. That's a match I want to see. You know what I mean? Yeah. Get me bloody scissors, Deuce. Yeah, dude. If they want to do that flavor of ice cream and wrestling and do that fucking shit, then you're not going to stop them. And our women's psychos, I'm glad at least she admits to it. She said it, not me.
But I mean, Bobo brings up a good point here. They keep saying, don't watch it if you don't like it. And then the ratings keep going down. I mean,
exactly that, because they want to be sexy models and have their ass cheeks out, but then they want to be what? Matt Tremont and Casanova Valentine doing hardcore fucking light bulb and tax spots for what? Like, these fucking goofs in the crowd that can team never touched a titty, they want to live vicariously and think that you could be their girlfriend, and they ogle at you in like it's a strip club that they don't got to pay except for a ticket to get in, right? So then you do all your Japan tech shit to show that you can get a "this is awesome" chant. And now what? You want to fuck yourself up after you're supposed to be the sex symbol, the symbol for, women can do it just as good as the men, but now the men shouldn't be doing this type of shit, and now you want to do it. Like, nobody wants to see pretty girls all fucked up. Like, that's the thing. Like, I have no desire to see women get color, you know what I mean? Whether it's coming out of their crotch or the fucking top of their head. And one, you have a choice to do. The other one is nature's cycle, right? And I'm not trying to quantify your joke and put it over like, yeah, no, a menstrual cycle is like, no, I get what she was doing. It's funny. And it grabbed headlines. But if you want to do this type of deathmatch wrestling, that's in the Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors. Is it going to get you over any farther? I don't think so. It might get you a shirt on AEW shop like it did Britt Baker to rip off the Tommy Dreamer hardcore shirt. Make money with it. At least if you're bleeding and gigging, have a plan of what your beauty shot is and have every girl on there that's in pain or whatever. But I don't know, man. I just don't I don't think the people who get off on that watching hot girls carve themselves up has got to be such a small minority of a wrestling audience with probably some weird, twisted fucking pseudo-sexual shit going on. I don't know. Like, torturing women is not something I think is great. I mean, I would rather do Kiss Me Kayla.
Right. I was going to say, you talk about the different 31 flavors, and I get that. Why do you feel like there is this desire from some of these women to bleed? Like, why do they want to bleed as much as the men do? Why wouldn't they want to showcase their abilities and their act in a different way that doesn't make them look just like the guys?
I don't know, man. Maybe it's just something that's kind of left undone on the table if everything's been done before. And say, I'll do it. I don't give a fuck, and it'll get me a spotlight and criticism and whatnot, good or bad. Who cares as long as they're talking about you, right?
Right.
I don't think any guys, unless I guess if you're really fucked up like Masada or Necro Butcher or like my man, Matt Tremont, Casanova Valentine, guys I got a lot of respect for and have been in locker rooms with. And like I said, I watched all that Cactus Jack fucking FMW Terry Funk shit. You know what I mean? I was a huge mark for it. I'm not going to say I wasn't in 95 to 97. I got the tapes right here. And it's just like, I can't shit on it and be like, it's the stupidest way to work. Like, now that I'm a rip guy, you would never, ever see me do it. But as a fan, I get it, but I don't think I would want to see women do it. In fact, there is an electrified barbed wire match where from FMW with the chicks, and the one chick has like a sigh and she's fucking carving the girl's head. And it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like, but I guess there's a fucking market for everything. And if they want to do it, can't stop them, man. This is our art form, and we're fucking weird, twisted performers, but to make somebody do it who doesn't want to, no. But if you're that's how you're going to fucking go, I bled for my art and you're in it, dude. That's how twisted it is. And then it becomes an addiction, dude. There's one thing I don't like about what I've seen Tremont and Valentine do is because I care about their health, is they're all carved the fuck up, bro. Like nasty scars. And I know with those deathmatch wrestlers. Like that's a badge of honor to have your arm all fucking carved up or in your forehead and shit. And like, I don't know, man. That sadistic shit is way too beyond me. I'll just fucking wave a flag and yell along, get people pissed off. But those guys bearing those scars don't think it goes by me that the scars on their arm matter in my match because my shit seems more real because their scars are real. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why I respect them to some degree. Is it my flavor of ice cream? No. And as a booker and a writer, would I ever put a women's hardcore match in my show? Only if it was like a 2 to 3 year feud. There was nothing left, and these bitches, one's dying. Like, like it's it for you. Like, and they want to really, go after it. Like, it's a payoff, a major story. To do it just for the fuck's sake of blood, no way would I ever ask women to do that. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Next piece of, I guess, two stories they're kind of combined because I found them to be interesting was first 2 days ago, Stephen Amell, I guess, was speaking with iHeartRadio. He appeared on
Sorry,
iHeartRadio.
1 second. This just popped in. Frank says self-harm isn't art. I disagree with that, my guy. Jesus might disagree with that. But, I'm not trying to take it to that, but there's a lot of artistic stuff that absolutely is mainstream. I would say David Blaine's entire act is self-harm and for people to watch it, so that it's weird. Like we deal with a strange morality, but it's the same reason you can't turn away from a fucking car wreck on the highway.
So yeah, it was like I said, these two stories I guess tie together. So 2 days ago, Stephen Amell was reported he was on iHeartRadio. He appeared and he said, "I'm not up to date with AEW. I'm certainly up to date with WWE. We are on the road to WrestleMania. I think I'm going to make a cameo on night 2 of WrestleMania this year." Amell didn't elaborate on what his role would be. WrestleMania 42, of course, will take place Saturday, April 14th and Sunday, April 19th in Las Vegas. He hasn't appeared since WWE SummerSlam 2015. So, I mean, whatever. That's just a normal story, you think. Fine. But then, the day later, while speaking to iHeartRadio's Canada, Miles Galloway, he had this to say about the 2026 Royal Rumble. He said, "I thought the Royal Rumble was bad. Listen, not every show can be great. I thought that night 2 of WrestleMania last year, and I was there, I thought that was like an A+ night of wrestling. I thought top to bottom, tip to tail, it was great. I thought this Rumble was, I just didn't think it was great. And I just thought that the atmosphere, it seemed weird, like the arena was kind of empty, or was it? It was just optically like the way that it looks and presents it's important, and I thought that it looked and presented poorly relative to previous Rumbles. I've been to, I think, the last 3 prior to this in San Antonio, Tampa, and Indianapolis, and those shows were awesome, and the atmosphere was great." So what are your thoughts on him first saying, "I'm supposed to be showing up at WrestleMania Night 2, but then coming out the next day and saying the Royal Rumble sucked"?
Breaking news, Stephen Amell will no longer be at WrestleMania Night 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think this is a mistake from him, bro. And talking openly and honestly about wrestling, saying that because he is a fan and someone who's participated in some cool spots, right? So a little too comfortable maybe being one of the boys because he's a performer. And what do the Saudis want more than anything? What do they say about all their events? The greatest Royal Rumble ever. They want to be told,
yeah,
your money was worth the spend and you guys are the best. Nobody's richer than you. You're the greatest royal family of all time. You're the greatest superpower in the history of the Middle East. Like, that's what they want to be viewed as. Stephen Amell is a fucking actor. Shut the fuck up and get paid, my dog. Like, he should have gone, you know what? Everyone's dogging on the Royal Rumble, but I was amazed at the way they pulled that off in 35 days production-wise. I think, that flight over there is not easy, especially as a professional athlete, and everybody over-delivered, you know what I mean? I know if I flew there and had to perform, I would be feeling like, throw yourself under the bus, put everybody else over. Every dollar they spent, and guess what? after WrestleMania night 2, you're going to be number 28 when fucking who's in the Royal Rumble? Stephen Amell, and you clock a fucking fat paycheck from them. Now you just fucking went, buried them, and now you're supposed to show up night 2, and now you think the Saudis, if they want to, if the only positive that could work out from that is like, oh, he wants to talk shit, we'll buy him. We'll buy him. You know what I mean? Like, and then you're kind of viewed as a sellout. At least if you did it and did the PR the right way, you could have clocked a fat check off of that, putting them over and been posing in your fucking headgear and garb next to the Saudi fucking Prince and Triple Game and Cody, and got probably a free Rolex worth $500,000 picked with diamonds from a fucking blood diamond mine in Kenya or some shit. Like, dude, I just don't get it how people miss like that when you get, that's the thing, you've gotten everything handed to you. Not saying you didn't work hard on heels or what else,
Arrow,
Green Arrow, sure. You're an actor at the end of the day. You know who just did it right is Bert. What the fuck's his name? The comedian who takes his shirt off. Kreischer. He was just on with Stephanie, and at the end, he just stops the podcast and go, "Can I just, say something?" He goes, I do a lot of podcasts, and this has been the easiest and one of the most fun, and you guys are so over prepared with your information. He goes, it was just awesome. I loved it. One of my favorite ever. Did the McMahons do the Helmsleys do want to hear anything more than that? The Levesque, bro, that guy knows. He knows what CM Punk absolutely did not know. Instead, what's Steph gonna do?
She's gonna invite him back. She's gonna put him over. She's gonna say we should be booking this guy. Let's have him at WWE. So it's only gonna further his relationship with the company.
He's gotta go to Saudi. We need him in the front row. We need him here. That guy's fucking smart and gets it. The other guy is a wrestling fan and wants to talk like a wrestling fan. That within a 48-hour period on the fucking, well, not a 48-hour AEW period, but a 48-hour period, both of those stories came out, and you couldn't have worked it the wrong way as an entertainer. And not to say any worse than, I'm not saying Amel did, but like, you couldn't have worked it in an opposite direction, and one guy did it the right way, and the other guy did not do it the worker way.
Right.
And that happens, bro. You're just in the moment, and these IWC sheets are going to fucking pull the stories and headlines they want, and it instantly is going to shape it up in the locker room. That's just how history's written on the fly. No one's going to give a fuck in 24 hours. These are stupid wrestling headlines. No one gives a fuck now. But this is what we're here for, to talk about how it goes, right? And these are the locker room lessons. Kevin Nash would look at that and go, he wouldn't have to say nothing. He'd just go, and judgment will be passed, bro.
Have you checked out Free Bert? Have you checked out Free Bert, his new show on Netflix, his 6-episode series?
I haven't. I heard it's good. I like Bert Kreischer. I sometimes the bit gets a little bit too much for me, and I know he's kind of got that sad clown part that Farley's got. Like, I know he drank a lot. I hope he's not getting bombed. That that liquor will fucking end you. It's fine in moderation, but that's comedy too. So doesn't matter, John Candy, Jim Belushi, whoever the fuck. But some people can leave it behind. But you know what I saw, and it popped me, that, and this is why I like him even more, because he is in tune with shit. Sorry, we back?
Yeah, you're back.
Check 1 2, check. One thing I saw that I liked this week, and I followed these guys since they were a meme back in the day. You know what Warak is? I can't believe we're talking about this on the show. Fucking Warak, you know what this is? No. Yeah, WARAQ. So they're these guys in the Northeast. I think they're from Baltimore and like
they're
that
a rap
area.
Group?
They're just, yeah, they're these white guys that are scumbags. And the one guy in the back, like, they were in the woods when they were teenagers. And the one guy's called Hammer. He just keeps pulling hammers out of his pants and whipping them. And then another guy jumps off shit. The main leader dude, like, so that was back in the day when they were a meme. There's like a guy with a hockey mask, another guy just flexed out. They're all on meth at 16 in the backwoods in Baltimore. Well, they're from Warwick, so they call themselves Warak. But they know their ribs, but they don't give a fuck. So they just started doing these hip hop, like they're trailer park wiggers, and they read off of their phone like these hardcore lyrics. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't them spitting them and making a rib out of it, they believe it, like that they're the best, and good for them. And they're boys, and they make a video like every other day, and they're a rib. But the one kid's always got his shirt off. So Bert Kreischer is in their new video, and he's just in the back, like as part of the fucking Warak crew, hyping them the fuck up. Like he's not pulling focus. It's them just doing their normal da 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 da. And there's this one guy, I can't believe I fuck is. I'm a mark for just shitty internet stuff, right? But they're making content, these guys. And the other guy's name is Chief. I don't know if he's half fucking native and whatever, but his bit in the thing is Chief always jumps out for the second verse. You don't know where he is. He'll be under a boat. Like if they're down by the creek, he's under a boat, and he flips the boat and comes out. He behind the door, slam the door, jumps out of a culvert or some shit, and just starts rapping like he's DMX. Like it's ridiculous. But at least these guys are boys and having fun. And that's where, the underground of internet shit, whether it's BDE, Warak, and Bert Kreischer's got his eye on it and sees the comedy value in it. And he didn't try and upstage them and make a rib out of it. This dude's got his shirt off. Bert Kreischer's gimmick his shirt off. Let's go viral on it and put these fucking kids over. I like that part of the internet, dude. And I like that part of comedy and entertainment coming together. So when I see things like that, when people have 6, 7 Netflix specials, a fucking deal, and they got their eye on the pulse of just these fucking trailer park kids, and they jump in their game, I love that shit, dude. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Free Bird show. I would definitely say check it out. And, you talk about his gimmick being his shirt off. Well, not to spoil the show, but part of this show is the shirt actually stays on a lot. So
I think that's good, though, because he was known for that, and I think he's got a bigger range. I think he's got, let that be. And I don't know about this show, if it's like him playing him or if
he plays himself and his family and stuff like that.
So that's the bit, right? Like that's what he's got to go out and do, the fucking truffle shuffle bit. But there's a lot more to him, and you can hopefully get to see this. So I think that's good that it'll get him away from just being like Bert Kreischer. People are like, who? The guy with the beer belly who takes his shirt off. Oh yeah, I know that guy. I didn't know his name. Maybe you'll get to connect to him, and this could send his career trajectory. Like Kevin James had all those dad films, like all the Adam Sandler type shit. Like I think Bert Kreischer is about to take over that spot as like America's dad in a bunch of shit,
Yeah, good show. I enjoyed it. It was funny. He's got his
I'll
kids.
watch it.
The kid, one of his kids in the show episode is constantly cussing. She's like 8 or 9. It's
awesome.
It's a funny show. Yeah.
Awesome.
Next kind of find confusing, but AEW at times is very confusing. So as seen on the February 11th, 2026 edition of AEW Dynamite, Tommaso Ciampa defended his TNT title, which he had just won within the last 2 weeks, against Kyle Fletcher. After a back and forth encounter that went 20 minutes, Fletcher pinned Ciampa to become the 2-time TNT champion. And then after the match, Fletcher said he would defend his title against anybody in Australia, setting up a match against Mark Briscoe. So what are your thoughts on Tommaso Ciampa just debuts in AEW? They put the title on him, and then within 2 weeks, they take the title right off of him, basically killing any momentum for this brand new property that's in AEW.
The only thing that I can think of that scares me and I worry about, and I hadn't watched this match, I told Ciampa this, because we come from Southern Fried Wrestling, but he went to ROH Indy and got over with strong style and stuff, and now he's got a neck injury that had surgical repair along with other things in the last couple of years, and doesn't matter how much great shape you're in, bumps is bumps and miles is miles. When the fucking cartilage goes away, everything hurts all the time. And I just want to see him, be healthy. So my fear is that to put a title on a guy and take it off him means he got hurt and you're kayfabing it, and we're going to go this way. Plans change. I don't want to. And I think Tommaso would be the kind of guy to go, something's fucked up. I can't finish this program the way we laid it out. Let's put it on him and I'll do business. So I would have to watch the match to make that assessment. I'm just calling it blind here, and I really hope it's not that by any means. I hope it's just, I don't hope it's improper booking, but I'd rather have a booking mistake than taking it off a guy I respect for getting hurt, off of anybody, whether I know him or not, getting hurt. You know what I mean? So that would be the reason, just analyzing it from based on what you told me. So it's either improper flash booking or they had a plan and we've diverted it. What could be the reasons? Number one would be that.
Yeah, I just found it just to be odd a little bit, because he just debuted this guy and we're already taking the title off him. That's all.
Right. And that's what logic would lead me to. What reasons, right. And I hope I'm not right. I hope it is like, well, we had something, we're going to do something else, like instead of, oh, something's fucked up. I got to go get looked at, so.
Yeah. Last thing here. I don't know if you guys discussed it.
Or it's ultimate rib. And this is the dark, dirty side of my wrestling mind after hearing about Nash and fucking Game earlier. Tommaso's in with Game. And I would never, Tommaso, if this gets stooge, I would never think this is in your character to do that, but this is the dark side of wrestling OVW analysis. Tommaso and Game are tight. Tommaso's neck's fucked up and they're not going to pay him a lot, right? Then to like retire, like this is his last run to cash, maybe. Game tells him, go over there, get fucking paid, come back, I'll bring you in as an agent. He goes over there, works 2 matches, and knew he was fucked up, showing up, signs, cashes the check, sits on the sidelines for the next 6 months, gets paid, and like, you know what I mean? Maybe in 2 years they don't renew. He does a couple more matches, they don't renew. He clocks $2 million, goes back to Game pays him $450 to be a fucking, agent. Like, that's the dark and dirty side of wrestling sometimes, but I don't think that is what they're doing, but it's been done before is what I'm saying. There's a precedent, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just really hope with his neck being repaired that he's working a different, safer style than he was when I talked to him in Buffalo that night. That was when him and Gargano were kind of at the peak of NXT and they were doing all that crazy shit. Adam Cole too. And look where they are now, bro. Those NXT matches where I watched those guys fucking code red each other on the concrete and kick out like it wasn't even the finish, like give each other shit off the top of the cage, not the finish, and then not for the biggest paycheck too, just for the NXT hype and endear yourself to Game and HBK. I didn't say all that shit, but he knows what the fuck I was saying. Like, I'm not the kind of person to say a toe to so, and I definitely don't want to on those guys, but
yeah,
here they are with fucking devastating neck injuries.
Right. The last piece of information I got here, I don't know if you guys discussed this week on the Monday Locker Room, but judge denies Janelle Grant's early discovery request in lawsuit versus Vince McMahon. So Janelle Grant's motion for discovery in the sex trafficking lawsuit against Mr. McMahon and WWE has been denied by the judge in Connecticut District Court. Grant had motioned for discovery to begin in last June, with the argument being made that it would be used to indicate whether Grant had been coerced into arbitration agreement she had entered in with McMahon and WWE. The defendants, on the other hand, contested that the evidence is irrelevant to the question, maintaining that the agreement compels arbitration first and foremost, and as such, each defendant filed renewed motions to compel arbitration. Judge Sarah F. Russell determined in an order on Friday that Grant had not met the burden of good cause to show that discovery is warranted before responding to the defendant's motions to compel arbitration. In the order, she wrote, "The court expresses no opinion as to the merits of these forthcoming arguments or any other grounds that Grant may choose to assert in opposition to defendant's motions to compel arbitration. Grant may renew her discovery motion in conjunction with filing her response in opposition to the arbitration motions, and after reviewing that, the court will determine whether to permit the parties to take limited reciprocal discovery. The parties were directed to confer and file a joint notice proposing deadlines for Grant's response to the motions, 3 mutually agreeable dates for an oral argument on the motions, and stating whether the parties seek referral of the case to a magistrate judge for the purpose of a settlement conference. The joint filing should be made on or before February 18th, 2026. What are your thoughts on her being denied the motion? Is this just another win for Vince McMahon, or is this just part of, the natural order of, cases when it comes to arbitration?
Tell me more about this oral argument part. What's that about? I always had an argument with Linda with oral and all that. No, sorry. For me, it's interesting. Part of this is like they're saying no discovery to lead things to arbitration of like, what part of discovery do you want? Like there's text messages and very foul things that are out there already. One part of this that nobody's really bringing up is the actual corporate part of it that can be tracked. There was early on, there were stories of she was in the legal department as like a legal assistant, and like people there were like, what is she even doing here? Like Vince parked her there so she was earning a paycheck until he wanted to call her upstairs for some afternoon delight with who knows who else, right? Like that's straight quid pro quo for sexual favors, really making you a concubine sex slave. They moved her into like 2 or 3 other departments in like over a very short amount of time. I think like 24 months. I could be mistaken in that amount of time, but like that mixed with they already like that chain of events and the people who had to work with her, the stooge was that they were pissed off that they had that now they're made kind of accomplices, especially to Parker in legal. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So if they wanted to, couldn't they summons anybody from the legal department and get them to say, yeah, she worked here from X amount of X, and I never really knew what she did. She didn't have any credentials, and she would often get called up to the 5th floor and disappear for 3 hours at a time. If I'm doing discovery, that's that's what I want. You know what I mean? As a lawyer, because then you can just draw a pattern of, was she in her office next to her cubicle next to you the whole time? No, there'd be often times where that's probably why they don't want to. But then you look at Connecticut, and can the McMahon's lawyers make one call, and how corrupt our judges, and how Vince just hit a lady going 90 and only got $1,000 and a slap on the wrist. Could kill your whole family just because he's a psychopath out there, 80 something years old, fucking ripping a Maserati 91 miles an hour down the road. Could end somebody's life. So if you can get away with that, of course they can push some shit to not. And I saw that she's actually going to be speaking in public about being NDAs and being made into a concubine, really, and not being able to have any rights because of that, and that hopefully speaking for reform, but I don't see that happening. But right now is the time to push that, because Pam Bondi just blew up in her face or a grenade with the girls from Epstein Island sitting behind her who had been raped by multiple people in powerful positions, and she wouldn't turn around as a woman and say, I'm sorry that this happened to you. Like, shit is crazy. Like, why won't people just do it? They keep stuck on stupid and doubling down when all people want is that humbling moment in America of, see, you were fucking guilty, even though Pam Bondi is doing just the cover-up job she's being told to do. Otherwise, you'll be executed probably, but like they still want to just say,
You're breaking up.
And over you go, see, you better say you're sorry. So just fucking say it, even if you don't. Sorry. So I'm like, say it even if you don't mean it. Like you're there on the stand to get worked and take darts. Turn around, be humble and go, just as woman to woman. Just say it like that. I'm so sorry that this happened to you. Not as Attorney General on behalf of United States of America and admitting that, like, just do it on a human level. And then people are going to go, see, got her. Now who else can we get? Instead, she stayed in the pocket and just kept feeding bullshit that is going to make you take more shots. I guess, like, nobody knows how to fucking work and sell and take heat. Sell away. I'll come get you. Don't worry. So it all turns into a Streisand effect. The more they say, don't worry about this, you're not going to want to see this. We know exactly what's going down. We know where we're going. They're crazy for it.
Yeah, you kind of referenced it there. There was a press release that came out. The Connecticut Alliance to End Sexual Violence is holding an event on Thursday, February 19th at the Legislative Office Building in Hartford.
The Connecticut, what was it?
The Connecticut Alliance to End Sexual Violence.
Connecticut Alliance to End Sexual Violence. Yeah, let's get out there. Who do you think that's sponsored by?
I don't know.
Things like that are usually sponsored by the people that are committing the sexual violence and acts themselves, are they not? Like anti-smoking campaigns sponsored by Philip Morris.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a bunch of perverts paying for them to get them out there to rally against them. They control all sides. Problem, reaction, solution.
Yeah, it's one of the stated goals for the event is to pursue reforms to non-disclosure agreement policies that can prevent survivors from speaking publicly about past abuse, a topic, of course, close to home for Grant in the midst of the ongoing lawsuit against WWE and Mr. McMahon.
You going to be there? You going?
No, I'm not going there on my day off. What the fuck?
Well, it's the perfect time to go.
No, I'm not going to go waste my time there. Before I go, here's something that did just
say, if you didn't have a girlfriend, that'd be the place to go find one, right?
Something that I did pop up that Yahoo Sports reported on Tuesday that I don't know.
Would you go if I bought you a big costume or like we made one and just had NDA on it and like your face in the middle with like a target to punch on there and you walk around with a big sheet of paper, like the towel thing from South Park, but you're just a giant NDA walking around there?
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not going there. No.
Fuck.
Last thing here before I let you go, because this did pop up. As you guys discussed and heard last week on Master Shoot Theater and the Raw SmackDown review, you guys went into detail on your thoughts about Ashley Massaro being listed in the Epstein files. And of course, you had, kind of gone over through some different thought process that, what was her background? How did she get there and whatnot? Well, to keep up with that, some former WWE legends or more WWE legends have been discussed in the Epstein files. So apparently, WWE legends Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, and Mr. Fuji were also referenced. The files reveal an email from Dr. Harry Fish, a urologist, to Epstein in 2019, discussing the deaths. They said first Bruno.
Hold on, time out.
Okay.
His urologist's name is Dr. Harry Fish?
Dr. Harry Fish, yes.
Continue.
He said, first
Bruno, I got a hairy fish for you to dangle and angle. Get over here. Hook this big monster.
He said, first Bruno, now Pedro from the New York Times. Pedro Morales, 76, first to win 3 major wrestling titles, dies a hard-punching star of the 1970s and 80s. He was known as much for his kindness outside the ring for his ferocity within it. There was a text message exchange where Fish said, Pedro is dead. Epstein said, I'm devastated. Who is Pedro? And Fish said, Pedro Morales. And Epstein said, Pedro is dead. Long live Pedro. And Fish went on to say, very people understand the significance of Pedro. Also found out Mr. Fuji died last year. And Epstein said, well, not before I fall asleep. So is this just two guys? Is just this, I think it's been shown, I guess, that Epstein was a wrestling fan, or is there more to this? Was Bruno and Mr. Fuji and Pedro Morales, were they hanging around on Epstein Island, Ben?
I wouldn't put it past Fuji that he was a big part of human trafficking, to be honest with you. Fuji don't give a fuck. He's one of the dirtiest bastards of all time in pro wrestling. Made a guy eat his own fucking dog. So yeah, man, no, this is just two bros talking wrestling. I don't think it's just that those names came up where somebody put it through Chat GPT, and yes, actually 3 wrestling names come up. You're expected to be Vince, Ace, and fucking whoever, right? But no, it's these guys, and it's just in a late night buddy email chain, like, oh no, fucking this guy died, and he's like, Pedro who? Oh no, like Pedro Morales, like just the way she goes, man. For funny little sidebar bits of conversation amongst thousands of condemning satanic documents. So no, I don't think Pedro Morales, Bruno Sammartino, or Mr. Fuji were on Epstein Island.
Okay. Before I let you go, I do apologize. I got one more information that just popped up here.
Yeah, in fact, I would have put Fuji Vice on the case to fucking take down Epstein Island, to be honest.
So I don't know if you saw, I think it was either last week or it was during the February 4th edition of Dynamite, when Brody King was in the ring against MJF, the fans were chanting "fuck ICE." So apparently the call has been made to not have Brody King on the show this week due to the possibility of more "fuck ICE" chants in Southern California. Meltzer stated that the deal is they didn't want the fans in the arena to be chanting that. If Brody came out, there was a risk. When he comes back, it will happen again. I don't know how they're going to handle it. Maybe they are hoping it goes away. This is not a Tony Khan call. This is a call from above. You know what it is? Nobody wants to get on Donald Trump's bad side. If it wasn't for that, nobody would care. It's just a chant. Unfortunately, Warner Brothers company, they're trying to sell and get regulatory approval from a guy who's going to take that stuff personal. That's just how it is. What do you think AEW removing Brody King from television because they don't want to hear the "fuck ICE" chant? Shouldn't they be leaning more into it?
Absolutely. Absolutely should be. You don't block things out. You accept them and say yes and you in wrestling, we always want to blur the lines of reality. And some people will go, well, we want to escape from that shit. There is no escape from it, especially when your audience is feeding themselves that. When they're not watching your product, they're watching MSNBC. That's exactly what they're doing. So because they're locked away, or they're online in an echo chamber of people who, they either troll and go against the opposite, or they get their beliefs reinforced by others that think alike. And you let them out there to wear that shirt the first time and you didn't stop them. That means you introduced it into the ethosphere, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that if he believes that, I'm fine with that. Every American can have their side and what they believe in. Is a Stasi police force a good thing to have? No, I don't agree with it. But in the politics of it, and I've talked about this on other shows with the psyop of open borders and what needs to happen, and thousands and trillions of tax dollars being stolen. It's just all a sham. And to come out here and toe the hard line of like one little part of the equation is very simple-minded and easy to do inside your echo chamber. Now, if you're going to actually do this shit, you've got a cop on your payroll. His name's Mustafa Ali. And it's double interesting because he toes the line of Arab Islamic culture.
Actually, he's in TNA, but this is AEW technically.
Oh, is he? Well, yeah. I would fucking hire him away. I thought he had a tryout and they had him like in ROH. I didn't know he was on TNA. But that's the guy. Or that you don't need to even have him. You could have Jackson Riker and the other dude from the Forgotten Sons be the ICE guys. Or you could even, if you wanted to, have Bobby Lashley being an ex-military guy. Has all the credibility. But you have to have somebody to play counterpoint and step that up. And Brody King's going to be the best character he's probably ever been, because it's going to be truly him with his politics invested, along with people who are chanting "fuck ICE" and support him. Then you bring out either, let's say it was Mustafa Ali. He'd be an interesting choice because he toes a Chicago woke line, but he also is a police officer. So that would conflict that crowd. That's the most interesting choice to me, right?
Yeah.
But those other guys I mentioned, if you just wanted to go hardline Tea Party or military or whatever, you've got the guys to do it. So why would you not plug them in and tuck tail and run. That shows you act like you're so convicted in your shit and you get a reaction, and then you're getting even global coverage over it. And somebody above shut that down. And they weren't ready to mix in anybody because they just want an echo chamber. But the first time you actually have heat or have something over that crosses over and you're going to shut it down, no, you play into it. And wrestling is supposed to be this theatrical space to pay off our outside heat with each other in a way that looks violent, but nobody's really getting hurt. Whether it's a theology, whether it's national patriotism, whether it's Cold War era from Nikolai Volkov, Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan. Like it's that easy, but we're so pussified that it's like, nope, I need my bread and circuses to be nothing more than a DC Marvel comic, and I can't get outside of that framework. I can't, but then you bring that in there and you deny it. That is not what you do in a scene. You accept, you say yes, and the and in this case is introducing the next character who's the counterpoint that also has a true belief system based on the other side of American culture. And guess what? At the end, we may find common ground where those two characters, one will be defeated, but will have respect for the other side. And it should be the ICE military side defeats the woke side, but they understand that their feelings matter and that people's lives matter. But then the left also understands that you're living under a psyop and we're here and doing a job we don't want to do, but we have to do because the other side tricked you and you have to admit that you drank the Kool-Aid, and then we fucking come together and have understanding. But you expect Tony Khan to fucking Asperger's that out on a 5x5 card where he writes the whole show? Like, if you're not even going to start down that road, how can you even get to conflict resolution and use our art form to tell a greater story of what's going on in society? These are not the people and writers in place to be able to do any of that. These are wrestlers that are stuck on Twitter and fucking... Yeah, if he really believed that, imagine if he was out on the front lines where ICE was. And you're an ICE agent. You want Brody King coming at you? And I would fucking take AEW cameras with me. Dude, everybody's just a fucking lip service armchair quarterback. They act like they have a high moral ground, but when it comes nut cutting time and to really put their ass on the line with her, and anybody who hears this is involved and wants to come at me, fuck that. I did this shit on the indies for 20 years and almost got stabbed multiple times, death threats, people in the military fucking trying to take me down that got kicked out of the military themselves. So I put my fucking ass on the line for my character for 9/11 Truth for 20 fucking years. So it's not like I'm an armchair quarterback out here just fucking slanging dope and not really knowing what's going on. So when I see it with people dipping their toe in to the political arena of wrestling and mixing that culture in, yeah, I'm proof positive that the work can handle anything, but the TV show sure as shit can't, because it's soft as baby shit when it should be as cutting edge as you want it to be, but everybody's too pussy to fucking actually go for it.
I like Hatebot's idea. The story ends with Bandito actually getting deported, and then Brody has to go to Mexico to smuggle him back.
Why the fuck not? And wouldn't Brody be a hero for those people?
Yeah.
Or you just have ICE capture him, and Brody fucking kicks the shit out of the cop, hops in the fucking car, and Brody and him take the fuck off in the cop car. You don't have to go all the way to Mexico. You can if you want. If you're going to tie it in with CMLL, why wouldn't you?
I don't know.
There's so many opportunities with this shit, and everybody acts like they got a big set, and then the next week they take them off TV, and you wonder why your shit's not getting over. Okay, dog.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you today. Ben Hameen and the rest of the viewers here on the Friday Locker Room. Of course, you can check out patreon.com/Hameen Media Group. If you missed the show live, you can sign up at $5 a month at the very least. You'll get to view this video back whenever you like, as well as a copy of the audio right into your podcast catcher. The Monday Locker Room, the Friday Locker Room, and a couple of different shows are behind the paywall, but we do still provide free shows such as the Impact Attack, the Wreckage, the Next Level Review, and you can always catch I Like It Raw on YouTube as well. But head on over to patreon.com/Homily Media Group if you miss any of the shows and want to watch some of the free content. You can also check out my podcast, SMB, a South Park Review. New episode dropping today, Back to the Cold War. This, of course, this episode is a take on from 2022 when Russia bombed Kyiv in Ukraine, and Mr. Mackey's feeling really nostalgic. So he's going back to his room where he's got all his 80s stuff, jumping on DOS and NORAD, and
Nice.
it's back to the Cold War. So check that episode out with me and Jimmy T. Ben, what do you
Would
got?
you like to play a game?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. Awesome, dude. That's great stuff all the way around. And it's not the Cold War, it's the war on cold here in Hoth in upstate New York, man. But we're gonna pull through and hopefully things will be heating up here soon for us. Thanks everybody in the chat today. Great talk, and I think they enjoyed it. Some good laughs, some good ribs to kick off your weekend, guys. And thanks for subscribing at patreon.com/Hameen Media Group. Vince should be back next week for Raw, SmackDown, and Master Shoot, so I look forward to that. I'm glad Papa Russo's on the mend for 95 years old.
Wow, yeah.
We can all only hope to be so lucky and have such a rich life and spirit to live, man. And hopefully you guys have a good weekend here, man, and stay safe. And I don't know, it just feels like winter fatigue and world fatigue. And it's wrestling, so don't take any of the bullshit too seriously today, especially my good friends Brody King, Stephen Amell, and anybody else who feels slighted today. CM Punk, I guess, whatever. We're pals. But yeah, it's good to be here with you, MSG, and the rest of the HMG posse. You guys have a good one. Push your limits, and or don't. Just eat a bunch of fucking pizza and do as thou wilt. The end is nigh. Here on the Friday Locker Room. Y'all.
If you're not Caucasian, then leave. Mark Henry. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules around here, okay?